Let me get in. Let me get in. One second. One second, Sadiq. The question tonight is, in the system of panchayats in Kashmir, you don't empower the grassroots workers. Those grassroots workers today, allow me, Mr. Sadiq, those grassroots workers are being threatened by terrorists.
My coming on the program does not...
Mr. Sadiq, you must take the questions.
It's no good if you don't want to listen to me.
Mr. Sadiq, you must take the questions. If you don't want to take the questions, what's the point? It's a democracy. You must take the questions.
I took a question from Mr. Khan. Let me answer.
No, I'm asking you a question. Would you take my question or do you want to dodge my question?
Of course, but then you have to understand, you have to take my answer as well.
One second.
You don't let me speak and then you
Mr. Sadiq, you have had the most opportunity to speak, but I just want to humbly tell you, please, with all respect, that because Radha Kumar, I couldn't go to her twice earlier in the course of the discussion. I want to go across to Radha Kumar. Ma'am, I hope my audio line is clear to you now.
Yes.
Well, good. I thought I was very unlucky with the audio with your satellite feed, but thank you for joining us on the show. And though it's the last part of the show, earlier, Meenakshi Lekhi had a pointed question for you. She blamed the way in which interlocutors handled the Jammu and Kashmir problem, and she directly linked it to the problems being faced by Jammu and Kashmir now, the rising terror threat, the Lashkar threat, and the way the Omar Abdullah government has been handling it. Now, I want her to make her point directly to you so you can respond. Meenakshi Lekhi, may I request you please to make your point a second time to Radha Kumar tonight? Go ahead.
My basic question is, 73rd, 74th Amendment to the Constitution has not been completely adopted by Omar Abdullah government. And the second point which I was making was regarding AFSPA. The kind of terror threats which the local leaders are getting and who are elected leaders shows that AFSPA is very much required. And under the circumstances, your assessment of the situation was incorrect so as to revoke AFSPA from Jammu and Kashmir, especially the valley.
Okay, that was our point to you. Radha Kumar, I'd like you to come back because everyone's talking about the AFSPA, the need to strengthen the army, not dilute its powers.
All right, 2 points. First of all, we have talked about the 73rd and 74th Amendments at great detail in our report. And we've talked about the need for, as expressed by all the sarpanches we met. You know, we met about 300 panches and sarpanches at different points of time during the year of our mission. And they were all very clear that they required the same powers, and that they required these powers to be handed to them very quickly. There was a legal problem in that, in that the Jammu and Kashmir Act requires all tiers of elections to be held before the full powers can be given. And I would still urge that the political leadership of Jammu and Kashmir, by which I mean also the members of the Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council, consider how they can quickly, as a special case, ensure that powers are given to the current elected members and not wait necessarily for every tier of election to be completed before these powers are given. It's my belief that that will also help give them more security. Your second point on AFSPA. Again, I'm afraid it seems that you have not read our report. What we have said in our report is, number one, and here I would agree with what Mr. Sadiq and others were saying earlier, the situation compared to what it was in the early 2000s is very much better.
How do you say
today.
That? How do you say that, Radha Kumar? 100% increase in cross-border infiltration. How do you say?
I was in Jammu and Kashmir at the time, and Baramulla, the lady got shot who was contesting elections.
No, I just want to, because I want to put a counterpoint to you and then I'll come back to you.
Let me give you the figures.
Can I share some figures and then you give me the counter figures? I'll give you the figures, you can counter them.
Sure.
My figures are... That's Ministry of Home Affairs, to whom you gave your report, by the way. 100% increase in cross-border infiltration. 67 incidents till July 2012. 139 Pakistani terrorists crossed the LOC compared to 93 last year. That's a 45% jump. 252 attempts in 2011 to infiltrate. 487 attempts in 2009. 98 managed to sneak in. None of these figures which I'm quoting to you today tell me that the situation is getting any better. Now, if your argument is the people may have come in, but they haven't carried out the violence yet, and therefore let us presume the situation is better. Then that doesn't work, does it?
Now, will you let me answer your points and your figures? Okay. First of all, my comparison was with the early 2000s. Your comparison is between this year and last year.
Why is that a wrong comparison?
As a matter of fact, in the feedback, well, first of all, in our report, we could not possibly talk about figures from last year to this year. Our report was completed in October 2011.
If I say that
the figures we had showed us. No, you have to let me finish giving you the figures I have.
No, you are saying that you're comparing it to 2000. My question to you is, why are you comparing it to 12 years back and not 2 years back? Please tell me why.
We compared figures from 1999 to 2011, year by year. And by the way, we used figures given to us by the Home Ministry. You may check these figures with the Home Ministry.
I am quoting figures with the Home Ministry which are more recent.
3 sets. We have, well, how in October 2011 can I talk about figures in October 2012?
No, but why in 2011 or 2012 would you not talk about 2009? It's the most relevant question to ask.
We did. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. We went year by year from 1999 to 2011. Just read the first chapter of the report.
Ms. Radha Kumar, you're just getting angry. My point to you is recent Ministry of Home Affairs reports state that there is an over 100% increase in cross-border infiltration. The question is being asked you in the context of the country cannot lower its guard.
2011. Look, for God's sake, understand how statistical comparisons are being made.
Ma'am, I understand statistical comparisons.
They are talking about an increase from 2011 to 2012.
If I take the benchmark, by that logic.
Indicate,
Mr. Goswami.
All right, but are you going to let me complete what I have to say?
I have got the figures.
By that comparison, you can certainly say that figures for infiltration have gone up from 2011 to 2012. Then you must look at the rate of militancy and killing. What are the instances? What are the incidents? If you have a declining chart in which actual fatalities and incidents have fallen below 500, that was for the very first time in 2009, that they began to decline.
So
you can certainly make the point that the decline has happened and now there is a rising trend again. That point I will not contest. I am not arguing that there is no rising trend.
My question to you is very simple, and with all respect, I have all the figures with me. Of incidents, civilian fatalities, security fatalities, terrorist fatalities. Let's talk total fatalities. Why that, Ms. Radha Kumar? Let's talk about the number of explosions. Let's talk about the number of infiltration attempts. And my question to you is very straight tonight. If I make the comparison to 2006, in 2006 the figure was very high. Therefore, if I say today that in comparison to 2006, the figure of 2012 is less, though if I take the graph back 2 years, 2012 appears greater, the simple question the people of India would want to know, why do you want a convenient comparison? Why would you not compare yourself with the recent upturn in the graph also in infiltration?
I'm sorry, you're being ridiculous. Look here.
Ma'am, it's a straightforward question. It's a pretty straightforward question with the facts.
Are you going to let me speak at all, or are you just going to interrupt me every time I open my mouth?
I don't know the ridiculousness of it. These are figures that have been given to you.
You want me to answer? Yeah, so let me answer. Yes. According to your question, your first question to me was on, is there a rising curve? And that there is a 100% increase and so on and so forth. And therefore, should not AFSPA and the presence of the army be strengthened? Am I correct? Is that your question, or is it not?
My question to you is that you cannot have a comparison only to a specific year. That way we can keep changing the year and keep changing the graph. Also the percentage...
I'm sorry, I never made a comparison to one specific
You just said you're comparing it to 2000 anyway. It's all right.
This is... No. This is the 4th time I am telling you that we took a graph from 1999 year by year, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, blah, 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 up until 2011. Every year, we noticed a rising trend, 1999 peaking in about 2004, 5 and 6 at the absolute height. Greatest number of fatalities and other violent instances. Then we saw a decline coming down up until 2011. We saw a steady decline.
1990.
That was the point I made. Now fatalities also fell in 2009 below 500 for the first time in 12 years.
Ma'am, you are looking at
that
it.
That continued.
Ma'am, I am sorry, but I will ask the same point to you again. You may call it ridiculous, but the ridiculous point is this, and you need to hear it, Ms. Radhakumar. The ridiculous point is this, that in 2011, and you can go back and check these facts, Ms. Radhakumar. You can ask the Ministry of Home Affairs.